Hello YouTube, welcome to my battle narrated whatever the hell. I'm gonna try to go through this real quick. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded a video. This video is so long, but I love this battle and you need to watch it and shit. Anyway, I'm battling Swift, as you saw from the Iron Challenge a little bit a while ago. She's using a team that she uses that is good. Also, it has that Clefable that you saw her make in the Iron Challenge battle video. I'm using a new team that I helped that my friend helped me make. It has a Mega Man Ectric and a Flygon and a Gardevoir and a Steelix and an Alomomola and a Meganium. I didn't notice until after I finished making it that it's technically UU, but I don't even care. It's a good team, okay? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, let's get this battle started because there's not enough time to do anything. If I can say anything about Swift, it's that she can predict the crap out of me. Every single time I'm battling someone, I do like these weird things and my opponent's just like, why did you do that? And I'm like, because it worked. And they're like, well, yeah. But Swift always knows when I'm pulling shit, and she always manages to react accordingly. Anyway, she leads off with her Valerie, the the little rat thing. I lead off with Eccentric, the Man Ectric, and immediately Mega Evolve to get the Intimidate drop on her attack, because I don't want to take whatever it has to throw at me. Little did I expect her to U-turn. She U-turns. Does a, not a lot, but it's a U-turn. You don't use it to deal a lot of damage. You use it to switch and gain momentum of sorts. Anyway, I go for my own Volt Switch because this is what I was just gonna do. I was a little afraid she was gonna bring in her Jolteon, but she didn't deal a lot to Fabulous here, but that's alright. Goodra is a special butt. Anyway, I bring in Sylvester the Steelix, who's a major powerhouse and can tank physical hits too, as you can see by that tanked Power Whip. And I go straight for an Iron Head, which almost one-shots Fabulous, but it doesn't. Anyway, right here I was predicting her to go into Jolteon, which would resist Iron Head, so I used Bulldoze, but instead she went to a Azumarill, who tanks the Bulldoze, well, a lot better than it would have tanked the Iron Head. Not that it's super effective because it's part Water type, but Iron Head just does a little bit more damage. I bring in New Complaint, my heart-shaped fish, which you'll be locked in for weeks. That's a reference no one's gonna get. She goes straight for the Aqua Jet, which deals literally no damage. Okay, not literally. It did like 7 damage if you count leftovers health. So she decides that she's not gonna do much with that. She goes straight into Tinkerbell the Clefable. This fucking thing. This thing just knows how to piss me off. I go straight for the Wish, deciding that, I might as well Wish Pass. Not that I really need it, but, it gives me the freedom to do what I want. Like, I can bring in Sylvester. If I was predicting her to use Moonblast, I could have switched into something that wouldn't tank it very well, but could tank it, and then it would get the Wish Pass, because Alomomola has, all the health. Anyway, Sylvester here gets the health back as she switches her Tinkerbell out for, drumroll please, Hellhound, the Houndoom. This thing, oh my gosh. I was predicting, well, I wasn't actually predicting, well, I guess it was stupid of me to not predict a switch. I realized whatever I used was going to deal a lot of damage. As you can see, it did a lot of damage to Hellhound, but then the Wish Pass happened anyway. Right here, I was predicting her to predict me to switch out, which is why I was expecting her to use Nasty Plot so that she could get a special attack boost on the switch. But instead, she goes for Fire Blast, which makes it so that my Sylvester, the Steelix, immediately goes down. Remember earlier when I said she can predict me? She can fucking predict me. I didn't think that she would have known that I was going to do that, and she did know that I was going to do that. I bring in Dosny, I don't know how to pronounce it because my friend nicknamed it. It's a cool Flygon, get the fuck over it. As she switches out, realizing that, it's a Flygon, so probably switch out. I instead use U-turn so I can gain momentum, so I can respond to whatever she switches out to, which is the Tinkerbell, who takes the U-turn quite nicely, but that's okay because U-turn isn't a move you use for power, it's a move you use to gain momentum. I bring in my Eccentric, the main Ectric. Intimidate drops her attack, but that doesn't matter because this isn't even a physical Clefable, and physical Clefables kind of suck this generation because it gets no physical stab. I am talking so fast you can feel my mouth doing that thing. Okay, I was predicting her to switch, expecting me to Volt Switch. I was predicting her to go to Jolteon, but instead she does not switch, and she uses Calm Mind and starts setting up on my Mega Man Ectric. And it takes the Fire Blast pretty decently and gets the leftovers health back right immediately afterwards, so I did almost literally no damage. I realize it's about high time for me to switch, so I go straight for the Volt Switch, as any man would. I'm sorry, I'm just... Dang. I bring in Chuck, the Gardevoir. Chuck immediately traces Magic Guard because I'm like, hey, if she uses Toxic on me, it won't do anything. But instead she goes for another Calm Mind, and I'm like, well, shit. She set up 2 Calm Minds. A special hit is not going to touch this thing at all, and its Moonblast has become deadly as shit. But I have ways around this, you see. Despite Sylvester being dead, I can attack her physically with Psyshock, which does physical damage despite being special attack, but it doesn't quite finish her off despite critting. She goes for a Moonblast, and I'm like, well, shit. I mean, shit. I got a little bit of health left, and I'm like, well, I actually survived that because Gardevoir has a decent special defense. She withdraws because, you know, she didn't have much of a choice. I outrun. It's not like she's going to outrun me. I'm just going to use another Psyshock. She goes into the Azumarill, who tanks the Psyshock because Azumarill is relatively bulky. Not like super bulky, but, you know. Now, I'm predicting her to Aqua Jet, so I decided that I can't stay in on this despite otherwise outrunning. So I bring in New Complaint, the Heart-Shaped Fish, and it takes the Aqua Jet decently, as you saw before. This time it was a crit, and it still did like 36 damage exactly. And then Leftovers gives me some health back. So things are good for me and for her. She already defeated one of mine, and I haven't defeated any of hers yet. I go straight for the Wish as she uses Play Rough, and I'm like, nothing. It's like nothing. Especially when I got Regenerator, because Alomomola is like one of the greatest freaking things in the entire freaking game. This thing should be OU. She switches out into Fireworks, the Jolteon, and I'm like, well, shit, this thing is hell. But I decided Toxic because, you know, I know what's up. I Toxic Jolteon so that it can lose health every turn, and I get the Wish Pass all the way back. I get all that health back. Now, I already know that her Jolteon has them choice specs, so I decided to Protect, which is a pretty dick move, but, like, it's a smart move at the same time. I see that she's using Volt Switch, and I'm like, well, she's choice specs. So I'm switching to Flygon. It's just the logical choice. You know, this is how I play. Yo. She uses Volt Switch, which doesn't affect me because I'm Flygon and Part Ground type, and Poison starts to inch more away at her health. This is looking good for me, especially because I'm just going to gain more momentum. She brings in her Azumarill, probably predicting a Dragon move. I don't know what she was predicting. I just use U-turn. Because, you know, momentum. But it doesn't quite finish it off because it's not very effective and stuff. Yeah. Now, what do I bring in here? I bring in New Complaint, the Heart-Shaped Fish, because I know that her Azumarill can't freaking touch me. I use Wish, predicting her to switch, because I just like getting that Wish off immediately, you know. I already said that earlier, I think. Maybe. I don't know what I said. Doesn't matter. This video, okay, I used Toxic, deciding that New Complaint, I was predicting a switch so I could Toxic whatever she switched to, but now Meryl has like has an expiration date on it. Play Rough deals damage to me, I get the Wish back, and the Leftovers boost, Leftovers health, there's no boost. So I'm doing pretty well. Poison inches away Azumarill's health, and now we're tied 5-5. She has 5 left, I have 5 left. Ha ha. Yeah. She brings in Valerie, and I'm like, shit. I even had to wait. I was like, does this thing know Bullet Seed? So I decided to use Protect, and sure enough, it knows Bullet Seed. And I'm like, well, I gotta get out of here. Because this thing has that one thing that makes it hit 5 times. It's like, well, shit. My mouth's getting all dry. I switch into Amelia, debuting this battle. Amelia is a fine Meganium. She predicts me and goes for U-turn, but despite that, I tank it pretty decently considering that was super effective. She U-turn, switch her Pokemon. She brings in Hellhound, and I'm like, well. Now she doesn't think I'm gonna make the same decision twice, but this time I predicted the Nasty Plot. I go straight for a Light Screen, so it's almost as if her Nasty Plot don't exist, yo. Then I predict her to Nasty Plot again. Because, you know, who would stay in twice against this thing? I would, motherfucker. I go straight for the Leech Seed, deciding, hey, if this thing's gonna set up on me, I might as well give it an expiration date. Is it a reliable one? No. Is it one? Yes. So, I get some health back. Not that I lost any health before. I mean, from the U-turn, but, you know. Now she goes for the Fire Blast. I was kind of predicting her to go all the way on the Nasty Plots. Not smart on my part, but that's okay. Because Amelia, you served your role. You got a Light Screen up, which is going to save me later, and you made sure that this Houndoom won't stay around forever. I bring in Eccentric, the main Ectric, because I know I can immediate Volt Switch electric type U-turn that's special, and I get stabbed with it. Does quite a bit amount of damage, and I'm like, well, what would she have used? Probably Fire Blast. So I bring in new complaint, the heart-shaped fish, but she uses Dark Pulse instead when I'm like, shit. But I still tank it, thank you, Light Screen. I would not have tanked that without the Light Screen. I get the leftovers health, and then the Leech Seed does the health. I get a little bit of health, and she decides to withdraw her Houndoom because, you know, it's gonna die soon, and I can just protect stall it, which is what I try. Leftovers gives me some health back. I see that Tinkerbell is low on health, and it's getting its own leftovers health, and I'm like, I don't want this thing to get more health. But I realize that I'm already, like, you know, she's chipping away at me pretty decently. So we let each other get our wishes off. This battle's like not even halfway done. My microphone is low on battery. If this thing dies before I'm done recording, I'm gonna be so upset. I mean that so much. Okay. I decided to switch now into Eccentric, the main Ectric, to get that Wish Pass off. And the Intimidate attack, you know, I didn't like, that's not why I switched. But she just goes for Calm Mind, you know. Because she knows that main Ectric can't do shit to it. I don't know, I guess it was pretty stupid of me. I think I predicted her to switch to get a Wish Pass off, but I don't know what I thought. I don't know, bringing in Eccentric wasn't a smart play on my part, I think. Anyway, now Tinkerbell has like almost full health, and I can't do much to it because we already know that. Unless I crit, then it's not gonna do much, and I don't, so I just go straight for the Volt Switch, and I decide what can scare this thing out. I bring in Chuck, the Magic Guard of. I didn't mess up my speech at all. Anyway, this is a Calm Mind here, and gets more special attack and special defense. I outrun this thing though, so I can use Psyshock and maybe finish it off. I don't know, maybe the Psyshock I used before was a low roll. So I go straight for the Psyshock. Let's see how much damage this does. Please kill it. She uses Moonblast, finishes off Chuck, the Gardevoir, which is a damn shame because Chuck, you so fine. Okay. I bring in Eccentric because I realize Tinkerbell's pretty low on HP. Maybe I can deal some damage to it. Go straight for the Thunderbolt. Look at that damage. No. She goes straight for the Wish, and I'm like, well, I mean, like, well, you know. She decides to switch now because she's doing a Wish Pass. She's switching to her Fabulous, whom I immediately Thunderbolt because I don't know why I Thunderbolt, but it doesn't finish it off, which is a damn shame because now she gets that whole Wish Pass thing going on. This is one of those days. This is one of those Goodras. I use Hidden Power Ice because it's super effective, but it still fails to do fucking any damage. It does like a 1/4 of it, which is weird. I go straight for the Volt Switch because I know I can't tank another Dragon Pulse, and I'm predicting another Dragon Pulse. My mouth. And my throat. I bring in New Complaint, the heart-shaped fish, to tank the Dragon Pulse. And he does decently. I mean, not great at all, actually. But, you know, he lives, and that's more than I can say for pretty much anything else on my team at this point. I decide to protect stall so that I can get some more leftovers health back. As Goodra goes for yet another Dragon Pulse. She uses Dragon Pulse again, and I'm like, please live, please live, please live. Yes, just barely living. So I use another Wish because I might as well just Wish stall at this point. Wish and protect. Rinse and repeat. Get that little bit of leftovers health back as she withdraws Fabulous. Maybe she expected me to protect and thought I might as well switch at this point. If you can't already tell, New Complaint doesn't have any offensive moods, so I can't hurt Tinkerbell at all because The only thing I have is Toxic, and it has Magic Guard, so it's immune to that. So really, Tinkerbell is a great thing to respond to New Complaint, the heart-shaped fish. I decided this is a good time to set up another Wish Pass, because she's probably not going to attack me or anything. And then she Toxics my face. Not much appreciated, brah. Now I'm badly poisoned, and this is my main cleric. Hell, it's like my only cleric, unless you count Amelia the Meganium, who's now fainted, so this is really my only cleric now. She predicts the switch right here and decides to go for another Toxic, but she predicted wrong this time. It was like the second time ever. I used Soak just because I was half expecting, I knew she was going to predict my switch, but also so she no longer has her Moonblast stab. Now her Moonblast is slightly weaker. Victory. And I decided this is now is a good time to switch. She's probably not going to poison me again. She's probably expecting me to stay in this time. So bring in Eccentric, the main Ectric. Get that Intimidate attack drop, as if that even matters. And I dodge the Toxic, which is such an important... That right there is super important. You'll see. She withdraws Tinkerbell, probably thinking that at this point I can finish it off. And she brings in Fabulous, whom I Thunderbolt, and despite it not being very effective, it still does shit damage. I don't know, I thought I remembered something different happening, but okay. I go for the Volt Switch, deal a tiny bit of damage, a little bit more than before, because critical hit. That crit probably matters, clutch crit. I bring in Flygon, Dosnay, I don't know how to... Dosna. She uses Dragon Pulse, which I barely survive. Holy shit on that one. I get some leftovers health back. She probably realizes that this isn't exactly an offensive Flygon. No details will be admitted at this point. But I U-turn and finally finish this thing off and get to keep my momentum, as if it really matters, because that means now she gets to decide what she switches in. I think it's 4-3. Or is it 4-... Yeah, I think it's 4-3. I'm not sure. I switch out because even though I will outrun, I know I can't one-shot Jolteon here. And I know she's not going to use an electric-type move on Eccentric, so I switch in a New Complaint, who tanks the Shadow Ball a lot better than he would have tanked a Thunderbolt. Get some of that leftovers health back, and I know that she's specced, as I've said. So her Shadow Ball, that's all she can use. So she knows that she has to switch here. My throat, like, honestly. Okay, I wish, as she brings in Valerie, who's got that Bullet Seed, but I have a little secret about New Complaint here that no one, or that I knew she didn't know at this time. I decided to protect so that I can get the Wish health back for myself instead of switching, as she goes for the Bullet Seed, which doesn't hit me. I use Protect. Wish comes true, I get full health, get some leftovers health back. Yeah. Literal full health. Despite Toxic. Never mind the Toxic. I'm not getting Toxic. There's no poison. What you talking about, Willis? She goes for Bullet Seed, and I'm like, shit, but... Not shit. It actually doesn't do that much damage to me. I am that fucking bulky. You all should use Alamomolo because it should be an OU. It's really... really bulky. But I flinch, and I'm like, wow, you're a dick. Because King's Rock on a Skill Link Pokemon has like a 41% chance of flinch, which is such bullshit. I think, like, I have way too much decency to do that. But, you know, it's legal in the game, so it's not like it's unfair. I don't know, I think it's unfair. But it's not like it's against, oh good, I'm getting a call on Skype. And I can't exactly, let me see if I can pause this. And I'm back. Probably really unprofessional of me to just pause my recording right there, but that's okay. I bring in Eccentric, who does the Intimidate drop on the attacks that I can get a little bit, I can survive a little bit more. And then I go straight for the Volt Switch because I want to chip this thing's health down. I realize at this point that Eccentric is probably my biggest priority right here. She's the only one who can deal a lot of damage. Dosne, Dosny, this Flygon. Look at this thing. It is tanking this. It took 3 bullet seeds. I just got a text. Fuck my life. I just took 3 bullet seeds before fainting. It is not an offensive Flygon. It is a defensive Flygon. For it to survive 3 bullet seeds is quite a big deal, I think. But right here, I get an Intimidate drop yet again. So this thing is -2 attack already. She realizes it's time to switch. And she doesn't use U-turn because she knows I outrun. She brings in Jolteon, probably expecting me to use an electric type move. But haha, I gotcha. I use Flamethrower. Does pretty good amount of health, but she barely survives. And then the Toxic does a little bit of health. She's very low health now. She switches to Houndoom to tank another Flamethrower. But she's already low on health, so Flamethrower still does a lot of damage, and I use it again just because I know it'll finish it off. At this point, it's literally just Eccentric versus the rest of her team. Luckily for me, her team has been chipped down a lot, and I just powerful. So I Thunderbolt Tinkerbell and finish it off, and she brings in Valerie. And I'm like, I was expecting her to switch to Jolteon, but I decided it'd still be worth it to Thunderbolt her right there. And then finally, she brings in Jolteon, and now it's 1v1. I outrun by 5 speed points, those 2 fast electric types, and I finish it off, and that is good game Swift. I loved this battle because it was against the odds. It was literally like Eccentric the Manectric versus like 4. It was 1v4, and I came out on top simply because I had chipped her health down enough. And of course, I don't even know. Of course, my throat really hurts. I mean that. Ow. Ugh. Good game, Swift. It was extremely close. I honestly didn't think I would win because I don't usually win to you. Just because you can predict me, and because you're a good battler, you know. She's not bad, as you saw. She almost beat me, but I just barely won, and that's why I like it. I love battles that are so close to winning. That's why, or so close to not winning. I like battles that are like to the end, like almost there, and then something happens. And that's what this battle was, as you can tell. I'd like to extremely, supremely thank Oteresk from Oteresk Gaming for recording this for me and dealing with the hassle of trying to send me a 22-minute and 45-second file, because that was a bit of a hassle on his part, and I'm sorry that I have to go through that. Thank you for sitting through it as well. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe, favorite again, like, comment again. I'd like to thank Beth for helping me construct this team, because she helped me construct this team. In fact, she actually IV bred the Flygon from Generation 4 so that it could get defogged, because it's a defensive Flygon. She bred that in Generation 4, and it has 3 perfect IVs. She is like a god tier breeder. Thank you so much for that. I'd also like to thank my girlfriend for calling me right in the middle of the battle so that I could have time to change the batteries on my microphone. Because honestly, I think it would have died if she didn't do that. So thank you for that. Thank you for watching again. That was a fun battle. I thought it was a fun battle. I hate ending videos. I always feel so jovial in them. But my throat's about to die, and I'm gonna go drink water for like 30 minutes. So thanks for watching.